We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying tuned. You know, today it also marked the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. It is a global occasion that reminds us that creativity and innovation have no gender and that women's presence in scientific research is not just about representation, but a vital pillar in building knowledge and advancing health and development. This day gives us space to listen to inspiring stories of Kuwaiti women who are making a real impact in science and whose presence in laboratories, conferences, and research projects reflects meaningful and influential participation. With that being said, we would like to welcome Dr. Anwar Alkandari, researcher, with us on Good Morning Kuwait. So thank you for
Oh,
joining us.
thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm really pleased that I'm being here with you today.
We're also pleased to have you because, talking about, having the platform to talk about issues, especially with women and girls here in Kuwait, it's always, for me personally, it's always a cause that I'd like to root for. So I do like to thank you for dedicating the time out of your day to talk to us about it. Now, what does the Day of Women and Girls, in science mean to you personally on a very personal level and the cause behind it?
This day is very meaningful to us. It's just not just to present women in science, also to show the people our contribution in science and in research. It is also showing us the support that we're gonna get from different institutions that's been and for that program and supported by from KFAS and the Smart Diabetes Institutes under the guidance of Dr. Faisal Rafai.
MashaAllah. Now, of course, from your experience, like how important is it for women to participate in the scientific field, and especially when it comes to research and development?
It is very important that encouraging women to work in research. For example, it will give more depth and balance to their work. Women from different perspective, they have a different view for their research. So, for example, if you have a challenge, you can get it from different perspectives, from different background people, that they can work together just to improve that.
And also, do you feel that in recent years, the opportunities for women here to participate in the scientific field have gone up, or have they stayed the same, or like what changes did it go?
It's indeed increasing.
MashaAllah.
Like a lot of women you can see now, they're presenting globally and they're published in a big journal. And also you can see their contribution in leadership. And also you can see different institutions, like for example, KFAS, DESMAN, and other research, including universities. They're giving more funds for women and for all researcher also,
MashaAllah.
just to increase their ability to work in research and projects.
Now, these women, mashallah, have the opportunities now. So now they go into their research. What do we say is the challenges that face a lot of them, especially when it comes to doing their work?
It is challenging. For example, balancing time between working in research and personal and person responsibility. It's a challenge. Working in research, it means that if you're doing an experiment, there you don't stuck to working hours. So you need to sometimes to work more, like after the working hours.
Yeah,
For my personal life, am a mother of three children
mashallah.
with different age groups,
Yeah.
and that will need more time, more responsibility to arrange time and balance it. But it can be fixed by if you have arranging your time and also having support from both the family side, like from my parents, my husband, and also from the institute, where they understand that we have our personal life too, and they're encouraging us to work and to balance our life.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned institutional support because how can such a support, help women and empower them in such fields? Like, what aspects are they tackling?
It is very important because if you want to start a research, you need a funding, you need resources, you need facilities, you need everything. So if the institutions provide that to you, so you're being like motivating to work more in the research.
Yes. And so, from your experience with working in the field for so long now, how would you rate or how would you assess the current representation of Kuwaiti females in scientific fields, and especially when it comes to research?
A lot of women, like nowadays, even in the International Women Day, Women in Science, I met a lot of women there, and I found out they're all been in successfully positions, and also they're working in research and they want to improve themselves, and they start also to mention that to their students or younger girls to encourage them to work on that field too.
Now, of course, we are going to play the devil's advocate here and say, what role does the media play in, giving the platform for women, especially when it comes to research development and all of that?
The media has a very, very powerful role here, and especially nowadays, because the younger generation, they always keep checking and checking the updates in the media.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when they see Kuwaiti women in science being recognized nationally and internationally, that will encourage them that to work in science or to read more or maybe involved in that.
Yeah, no, of course, like you're saying, that a lot of people nowadays consume everything from the media, like even their basic, scientific knowledge. If it's not on the media, then it's not factual, which is the importance of media that plays. And honestly, the media has a role in like giving a platform for people like you who are sharing that kind of message. Now, I do want to ask you is that do you believe that women's participation in the scientific research has impacted the quality of the research and the outcome of it?
Yes, indeed, because that will create a diversity and balance in the research. So if you have a woman from different perspective and also men from different perspective, and you give them one challenge and you want them to solve it or to work on it, they will have like they will improve the study designs, they improve this all the methods and everything, and will improve the work and saving the time and effort too.
Hopefully, and if you had a message to say to especially young, female students who are looking to go into scientific fields, who are looking to do some research, like what would that message be?
I will encourage them to work in science, to read about it, just to say them it's the first step is the most important and the hardest one. If you take the first step and you know you have a curiosity to work on science, just go for it, follow it. There are plenty of workshop and programs that will motivate women and introduce them, not just women and the younger generation, to motivate them to work in science and research field. So just start with it and you will keep going working on it.
Now let's go on the other side of that equation. If you were to say one key step that a lot of the people in society or institutions have to take to better, females' position, especially in research and development and scientific field, like what would that step be?
In my point of view, I saw that like establishing workshop programs, internship with different institutions to just introduce and teach the students and the young generation what's the science doing. I remember last summer, CAFAS did a small science program for school students, and I noticed the curiosity from the new generation and new things that they didn't have it at school. Say they just have it in summer course.
Yeah.
So I believe that all institutions or universities should do that for young age students, that just to let them know there is a new field that they can help in it, especially in research and science.
Now, from working with so many people, have you noticed in recent years that a lot of young students, female students, are going into research and scientific fields, or is that something, a little bit catching on?
No, it is like a big number of girls and ladies. They're going to the scientific field because they check also the media and they have the curiosity. And also, I noticed girls with the young age, they're looking for patents also, which is amazing thing that they have like a motivation and just they need more support from institutions and organizations.
Now, when it comes to women in scientific fields, like, of course, there's a perspective change, but how is their perspective different from when it comes to, the male in those kind of fields? Their history and everything that comes into play, the way they see things, the way they explain things.
Okay, so females and males, they're for like a biology, they're different, and but also if you put them in a science and working together, they will really improve the projects. Because what I noticed that you have like an issue, and then two different people are looking at it from two different sides, and when they work together, they will help to improve it. So that's why diversity is very important to improve the work.
It is. And now let's say a young student, watching this interview, they feel passionate or curious enough to pursue a research field. Like what would that path would be like, especially here locally? Like is it university? Are there outside courses? Like how would a young, girl student go and tackle such a prospect?
So it's easy just to follow the social media, and I noticed that like you can see that a lot of summer courses that introduce science and working in science, different type of science, either healthcare or computer science, and then you can choose whatever you find it interesting. Just look for it and start with it and just take the first step.
And is it, you know, tackling science? Because I come from a literary side of things, right? I chose Adabi. I saw one look at science. I was like, okay, that's not for me. So is it now, especially with how science is advanced, how science is developed, and now we have new things like AI, we have stuff that are so infused with technology. Is the barrier of entry, is it really high, or the new generation is used to all of these, so it's not as hard as I look at it?
No, for the new generation, it's not too hard because they already using it when they're in younger age, and they know and they understand every step of it. So I believe that it's not too hard for them. They can just working on it if they love it and curious about it.
Yeah.
So it's just easy for them. We just motivate them to work more on it and improve themselves.
It is. And also, we've seen, I was reading an article that said now a lot of the younger generation have a lack of attention, especially because of the, you know, rapid social media, the swipes next and whatever. So when it comes to the research field, have you noticed that with students? Have you noticed that with a lot of new people pursuing research? You know, they get easily distracted, they get easily sideways or stuff, or that is not changed in the scientific field?
It is depending on the personality more, but a lot of them, when, for example, in summer courses, when they're having it, we just tell them you have to focus just to notice this small line of change, which will make a big difference. And then I've noticed that they checking it, they keeping an eye, and they're not easily distracted because they're curious to know the answer.
Yeah. And I think that curiosity drives a lot of people to seek the answers. Now, when it comes to the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, um, is that, you know, is that a conference, an event, a special gathering, or is there something hosted on that day, or is it, you know, it's just a nationally recognized kind of thing?
It is an event was held by KFAS and also Minister of Interior, and it was organized in Markaz Abdullah Salam.
Oh, okay.
And there we met like different Kuwaiti women. We were 44 Kuwaiti women that work
Mashallah.
in science from different background. And also we had a talk and meet with different people and ambassadors from different
Oh,
embassies.
mashallah.
Yeah, and most of them, they're female and just encouraging us, like you're doing well. And also you start to spread the word that science is not just for men, it's for female and for everyone. And also I noticed that a lot of them, they're in young age, not
Oh,
just
mashallah.
old, yes, and they're curious about it and they work hard on the science field.
It is, you know, I'm so happy to see that so many young people are curious about science and so many people are pursuing sciences. And I know, you know, from watching my younger cousins, that's a lot due to watching their favorite YouTuber who does science experiments. So there are, even though social media has looked in a bad way, it also have a lot of good things. Yeah. With that being said, Dr. Anwar Alkandari, I do want to thank you for being our guest today on Good Morning Kuwait. You know, this was amazing. I always like to give the platform to talk about the empowerment of women. So I'd like to thank you for dedicating the time out of your day for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to see new women working in science in the future. Inshallah.
Hopefully, thank you. And also thank you, dear viewers. We are going to take a break, so stay tuned.